Samvaran and Tapati. Let me straight away take you to a deep discussion that is going on between the sun god Aditya and a lot of learned men, a lot of rishis, a lot of sages. All of them are asking one question to Aditya, that you are the sun god. You should know that equality doesn't exist. Why do you look at every being with equality? Why should you spread kindness and light to every being? Doesn't work, because every being has a different status in society. Every human has a different status in society too. Then why should they get equal light? And Aditya is saying that it is because I believe in it. And the rishis are saying, but why? I mean, tell us. Everywhere, there is caste and there is class, and why would there be equality? And Aditya is trying to reason with them with a lot of calm and saying that, look, this is a belief system that everyone needs kindness, everyone needs light. But somehow, these learned men, these learned rishis were not really getting fully convinced. Walks in a woman, very royal in the way she walks in. At the same time, extremely soft, with a smile on her face. She stands beside Aditya, and with a smile, she tells everyone that light is everybody's right. Kindness is everybody's right. And what my father is doing, I'm completely in agreement, and I think all of you should help my father in what he wants to achieve. Equality in giving light and kindness. She had so much of conviction in what she said that none of these men could say one word after her, after that. She smiles, greets everyone, says what she wants to say, and leaves the place. So this is Aditya's abode. Now straight away, let me take you to King Sambaran's palace. King Sambaran was getting ready. He was getting ready because he was about to meet his mentor. He was going all the way to seek blessings from his mentor Aditya. Yes, King Sambaran was Aditya's disciple. He believed in all the values of Aditya, and it was his birthday. He wanted to start his birthday with the blessings of his guru, Aditya. He meets Aditya, seeks his blessings and says, it's my birthday and what I need is your benevolence, your good wishes, so that I can carry on the work that I do. And Aditya says, Sambaran, you're my favorite. The way you live your life, the rigidity, the discipline with which you are living your life. I am so happy with the way you are ruling. And Sambaran, of course, who doesn't like, listening words of appreciation from their mentor? So Sambaran was also mighty happy. Aditya said that, I've never asked anything from you ever. But today, I want to give a suggestion. It's up to you to take it or not take it. Sambaran says, anything for you. I mean, don't even say that it's up to me. And Aditya says, have you ever thought of marriage? And Sambaran says, no. I mean, how can I get married? My life is dedicated to people. My life is dedicated to all the beings, all the people in my kingdom, because equality is a very, very difficult job. And Aditya says, what if you get a partner who also believes in the same principles? Sambaran says, is there any woman who would believe in this kind of principles? Because all a woman would want are jewelry and, they would want good time, and nobody would really believe in such things. Aditya says that I have a daughter. And I have a daughter who believes in the same principles. Suddenly, Sambaran becomes very stern for the first time. Sambaran says that please don't mind, but don't create a situation where, I have to say no to you, because I will not get married. I know she's your daughter, and I know you've raised your daughter very well. I'm sure. I haven't met her, but I'm sure you've raised her very well. But I am not in a position to get married. It's Sambaran's birthday. he's saying no to his mentor. Of course, everything was very nice after that, but there was a bitter note, let's say it in that way. So when Sambaran leaves Aditya's place, he actually tells his charioteer that, you come after me and let me walk into the forest because I just need to clear my mind. And he was walking pensively and he was deep in his thoughts. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a pile. And he was wondering that who would be wearing a pile in the forest. So he was thinking that maybe it's a rattlesnake or maybe it's some animal. So he was just getting ready because, again, Sambaran never believed in killing animals. So he was getting ready as to what needs to be done. He was just about to call his charioteer that he'll get on to his chariot. And suddenly, from the corner of his eyes, he sees a woman walking down the hillock, which is just on the forest. Sambaran turns casually and looks at the woman. She looked fiery, but at the same time, she looked as calm as a sage. There was a glow of understanding, of enlightenment in her. At the same time, she looked powerful, authoritative. For the first time, Sambaran sees Tapati and he falls in love. Hook, line and sinker. Because here was a woman, he just could not take his eyes off from her. And the woman was equally arrested in Sambaran's eyes because she also fell in love. It was both of them falling in love at the same moment. And Sambaran straight away asks her that, who are you? And she says, I'm someone who lives very close by. And he says that, I am King Sambaran. And she says, well, I've heard about you. And he says, you've heard about me? And Tapati says, yes, of course I have. And Sambaran says, look, let me not waste much time. I need to get married to you. I want to get married to you. And Tapati says that, I would love to be married to you. I would love to be your queen. But, I cannot do anything without my father's consent. Sambaran says, sure. Who's your father? I'm ready to go right away. Tapati looks at Sambaran and says, I'm Aditya's daughter, the sun god's daughter. Tapati. Just imagine the twist of fate. An hour back, Aditya had suggested that he get his daughter married to Sambaran. Sambaran had said no, and now he sees Tapati in the middle of the forest and he is in love. The whole situation was extremely difficult, at the same time embarrassing, so Sambaran could not do anything about it and he goes back to his palace. Tapati also goes back home. However, Sambaran was only thinking of Tapati. He was like a lovesick king. He was not being able to concentrate in his work after every half an hour, 1 hour. All that he was doing was thinking of that one encounter in that forest. Finally, Kulguru Vashisht, every kingdom would have a guru. Every king would have a guru who would look after the lines of the kings and princes, who would be teaching the kings and princes and who would also help in administration. So finally, Kulguru Vashisht asks Sambaran that, what's going on? What's happening? And Sambaran finally tells Vashisht that this is what has happened. Vashisht smiles and says, okay, fine, let me take charge. Vashisht straight away goes to Aditya, tells him what has happened. They both have a great laugh and says, okay, now let's get these two married. Everyone was very happy. Very, very happy, because here was a king who was doing good for people, and here was this woman Tapati whom everyone admired. She was powerful, she had conviction, so everybody was waiting for a union like this. So the marriage also happened in very grand style. Both the bride and the groom were in love. They had stars in their eyes, they had hopes in their eyes, and it was wonderful to see a couple like that. Marriage take place, it happens. Tapati goes to Sambaran's palace. Somehow, something changes after they get married. Sambaran becomes obsessed about Tapati. He is so in love with her that he could not be without her even for a moment. All that he wanted to do was shower attention on her. To that extent that he decided to give all his administrative duties to Guru Vashisht and all his ministers and leave the palace with Tapati, go to a villa right in the middle of the forest. Tapati, and during those days, agrees, and of course both of them get right inside the villa. And Sambaran was doing everything to get Tapati's attention. Everything. One day, there was thunder, and Tapati looks up, and suddenly Sambaran claps his hand, and there was this whole line of peacocks who were dancing in front of Tapati. So everything, she got the best fruits. One day Tapati was admiring a lotus on the pond, and Sambaran brings 1,000 lotuses at her feet. It was that kind of an attention from her husband. Sambaran was doing everything. However, Tapati never seemed to be completely into it. Something seemed to be bothering her. But of course, she was not saying anything. One day, while she was sitting and feeding a few pigeons, walks in Kulguru Vashisht and tells Sambaran and Tapati that come back to the palace, come back to the kingdom, because your people are slowly losing confidence. Your ministers, they don't know what to do without you. And your principle of equality is very difficult to implement. You know the ways to do it. So come back. Sambaran looks at Vashisht and says, Thank you for really wanting me to come back. But I can't. All that I want is to be with my wife. All that I want is to give 1,000 lotuses at her feet. I just want to be with her and nothing else. Vashisht leaves dejectedly. Tapati gets up, doesn't say a word. In the evening, she tells, I need to speak to you, my husband. And Sambaran says, what? And she says, I want to leave you. And Sambaran was aghast. He says, I've done everything for you and you're saying that you want to leave me? She said, but this is not what I had signed up for. This is not what I had envisaged a marriage as. What I wanted was to work with my husband. What I wanted was to, spread our values, our kindness to all the people across the world. I'm not even being able to spread light even in your kingdom, because all that you're doing is making peacocks dance in front of me and giving me 1,000 lotuses. But all that I want to do is to work hand in hand with you, is to actually consult and do good to people. I want to be in that one mission, one goal with you. And suddenly King Sambaran realizes that love is not just about seeking attention. Love is not about obsession. Love is about building together. Love is about growing together. And imagine how many years before Mahabharata was written. And when Sambaran realizes his mistake, he holds Tapati's hand, locks the villa in the forest and says, let's go back. Let's go back to our kingdom and rule together. Sambaran and Tapati had a wonderful life after that, working together, fulfilling their goal of kindness. They give birth to a son called Kuru. And all of you know about the Kuru line. Kuru line is the line where the Kauravas and the Pandavas were born. So yes, Sambaran and Tapati gave birth to the great-great-grandfather of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And they showed that love means growing together. Welcome to the world of Mahabharata once again.